G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the west side of the map. It's been a while since we've seen him. It is the one, the only, the give you anxiety. And going up against him today, it is going to be Student who spawns on the opposite side of the map. Now we've got ourselves a little bit of an Abbasid mirror. I'm curious to see exactly what direction this game is going to go. Now, for anybody unfamiliar with GUA, a big Age of Empires 3 player, this guy has really stuck around for quite a while. Now coming into Age of Empires 4, looking to make his mark. And for anybody unfamiliar with Student, well, let's just say that he is still learning. That's probably the best way to say it. No, in all seriousness, though, I'm unaware of Student. I can see his rank. It's not the highest, I'll be honest, 700. It's a pretty decent rank, though. But obviously, when you compare that to somebody like GUA, he's on another level. Now, this is an Abbasid Dynasty mirror. One of the common complaints I see whenever I post an Abbasid video is that, oh my god, Drongo, the winner of the game is never the Abbasid player. Well, good news, fellas. Doesn't matter who wins today. It's gonna be an Abbasid player. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the meta begins to unfold for these two. And I'm gonna be watching GUA. We're gonna be breaking down his build order and looking at how he takes control with the Abbasid Dynasty. So one of the things before we sort of get into this, before we break it down, I want to mention N4C. It's going to be happening right now. So what I want you guys to do, head down into that description. You're going to see a link, whether you go after the game, whether you stay and watch this one, whether you go there right now, doesn't bother me. It's up to you. But N4C is happening right now. Going to have players like the Viper, going to have players like the Muslim, Beastie QT. The biggest players in the game are going to be over there. All your favorites, Marine Lord, Vortex, Lucifron, Leenock. All the big boys are coming out. They're coming out in force, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about you guys, but I expect it's going to be pretty good. So let's take a look and see how GUA is doing at this point in time. Dropping down the House of Wisdom. He's managed to chop 50 wood. So going for the triple resource generating or resource gathering buildings. You don't always see this coming out. I'm going to be honest. One of the things that Donati's been doing is he's been going for just the double resource gathering build and then moving over to the berries after. I think that's the way he's been doing it. I'd have to double check exactly. Actually, I think it might just be that he goes for the gold mine and then goes for the mill, gets the early wheelbarrow out, and then he goes for that wood line. So I think that's what he does. Now, on the other side of the map, Student actually doesn't drop down that lumber camp. He's going to be clicking up at 240. Economic wing coming out for him. GUA also going to be going up with the economic wing already up with the lumber camp in tow. So GUA definitely a little bit ahead at this point in time, but we're going to continue paying attention to his build order, watch what he does in the transition. He's got a lot of time here to be chopping out plenty of resources and now going to be adding in another villager to wood. You can see him really moving those villagers across. And the map that we've got here, Lipany. Now, Lipany is a great map for the Abbasid Dynasty or for the Delhi Sultanate, just because they get that berry bonus. Now you get to see these beautiful berry patches. Typically you'd be restricted to 3 for each player, but on Lipany you get 5 for every player. So it's a great way to take advantage of all the berries that are on the map. And you can see GUA's got a beautiful spawn with 4 berries up there towards the north. So keep an eye on him and look out for that expansion up towards the north. But we'll keep an eye out on what he does. GUA now going for a second town center by the look of it. We'll check in with his opponent and see where Student is at. Student going to be looking to play it a little bit more, I would say less standard, maybe more standard, I'm not sure. That was one happy villager finishing off that lumber camp right there. But yeah, GUA definitely going ahead and looking to secure up that second town center. And look how early this age up is. GUA going to be hitting the age up about 405, 410 at this stage. So very, very early age up coming through for GUA there, despite getting that lumber camp so early in the game. So very, very well played to him for rounding up this age up. Impressive stuff. Now behind this, town center still going to be on the money for it. We'll check out how GUA does it. Now, one of the important things to note, GUA going to be scouting out. So I suspect probably not going to be looking to drop down a stable, an archery range, a barracks at this point. But if he does spot early aggression from his enemy, he sees the new age begins for his opponent. So he knows that he's up in the feudal age as well. He's going to be looking out for that. And if he spots, if he spots a stable that goes down here, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually saw GUA just drop down a barracks preemptively, just to watch that out. But we'll see how he goes. Wide loop around the enemy base, doesn't come in too close. Ideally, I'd you know, realistically, I would love him to just sort of be looping around in this direction, kind of like that. Probably move a little bit further away from that town center, but just really try and be looking out for those production buildings. Doesn't actually spot it, and I don't think GUA doesn't spot the stone either, so he's just going to be working on the assumption that his enemy is going for that. GUA now dropping down that second town center. 5:05, a pretty decent time here for GUA. Now, the best time you can get on the Abbasid is a 4:45, but obviously that takes a lot of micro and a lot of very specific maneuvers and movements. But now GUA going to be adding in quite a fair bit ahead of his enemy. You can see the enemy at this stage yet to add in that second town center, and all of his moves are going to be just slowly behind. So you can really see the importance of a build order and why it's so important to be focusing on how you're doing this. So GUA really paying attention in this situation and getting up that second town center ASAP. We do see fresh foodstuffs has come in already. We'll be paying attention to what he gets up to now, looking to go for those double villager production, working his way. You can see a lot of villagers still on wood here, so may look to add in some military production here. Could also go up for the fast castle. Personally, I'd be more of a fan of the fast castle. I think the best thing that you can do in this situation, move over about 6-7 villagers to gold, move a whole bunch out over to food, and then you look towards your enemy's base. And if you do begin to see aggression, then you can respond appropriately with those military production buildings. But in the meantime, just be working on getting up to that castle age. I think it's imperative that you do that. Going for that fast 2-town center into fast castle. I think you can actually get it up to about 9 minutes, or get it within 9 minutes. He does spot that second TC going down now, and I would expect GUA immediately just moves all of those villagers off wood and looks to do... What is he doing? He's dropping a barracks right now. Does he spot something that we don't? No, he doesn't. But there is going to be a stable coming down. So GUA with a little bit of, you know, a little bit of a big brain move right there. So the stable coming down, but spots out or looks to go for barracks and an archery range. So now moving out a couple of villages and starting to progress down towards this southern position on his base. You can see he's yet to hit that 10 structure count for the Golden Age, but he's working towards it. He's got plenty of structures out here. We've got the scout up towards the north, going to continue scouting out. Nothing else really happening. Age 1 Tier 1 activated, or Golden Age Tier 1 activated, rather. Second town center up and running now for student. He's looking pretty strong. Going to be dropping down an archery range, so cancelling that stable. It was originally a stable, but does instead drop down an archery range instead. Going to be looking to go into camels. Now, keep in mind, at this point, student's behind. So he's going to be playing a lot more reactive than what GUA does. GUA is ahead when it comes to these resources. So I'm looking forward to seeing how GUA's 2-town center Abbasid build order continues to unfold and watching it. So now looking like he's going to be moving into continued villager production and really starting to build up quite an infantry mass. Now, a lot of people in this position would be tempted to go into camels, and I could definitely appreciate that. But GUA obviously just looking to go full infantry. I would expect probably going to be adding a barracks in, or gosh, give me a sec here, guys. An engineering bay? No. A blacksmith. There we go. A blacksmith soon. I would expect that we add a blacksmith in soon and look to potentially get those +1 armors. So +1 ranged armor as well as the +1 ranged attack. I would not be surprised at all to see that, but we'll keep an eye out on that. You can see he's got 3 villagers on gold here. And check in with his upgrade. So no wheelbarrow coming through for GUA at this moment. No forestry, no double broadaxe, no specialized pick at this point in time. So no economic upgrades other than the fresh foodstuffs. We'll check in on his opponent though, as the first camel archer makes its way out onto the map. Now going to be going into stable. So looking at this composition, and you can see GUA yet to spot this out. He's obviously got the scout on the front line, yeah, double stable and the archery range here. So very expensive composition here for student. But now we do see the blacksmith going to be coming down for him as well. And up towards the north of the map, the camel archer getting out on the map, looking to take out that wolf. Just a little bit of damage is in here, clearing these ones out. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but you can see him just standing out. Now, one of the things to do is you can always poke and prod your enemy in this situation. It's always going to be a viable option for you, but going up against this many units, it's really going to make it hard. There's a huge mass beginning to build now for GUA, but behind this, you can see he's kind of looking towards that castle age. At least that's what it looks similar to, but we'll have to keep an eye out on that. He's about 50% away with regard to food, about 33% away with regard to the gold though, so we'll keep an eye on that. But he looks like he is going to be pushing out now. Not a lot of line of sight. Horseman now going to be diving in here. He's got to be careful. The spear's going to get a beautiful connection here. Students still got quite a bit to learn, it seems. GUA teeing off on those horsemen as they manage to make it out. Not a lot of health left on those bad boys. One of those horsemen down at 8 health, so barely getting out alive. More horsemen going to be coming in now. Going to be dropping down that forward outpost as well. GUA really looking to put on the pressure. At the same time, scouts coming underneath the town center. Nice little Camel Archer raid. Manages to come over on that position, but the outpost, is it going to get up? It looks like one villager goes down. Two villager gets picked off. Three villagers goes down. Fourth one it's going to go down as well. The outpost, it's going to be a doubt post if he's not careful. It manages to stay alive. The doubt post is real right now. It's a terrible, terrible damage as the doubt post does eventually get up. GUA punishes his opponent incredibly well right there. Oh, geez, student, you have got a lot to learn, my friend. That was absolutely tough. But Camel Archer just going to be sitting idly by on that mill, looking to put out damage and just annoy GUA, ringing that bell constantly. GUA going to have to expand down towards this southern expansion point, but keep in mind that scout is keeping watch of him. But I'm curious to see what the villager count is, because we did see at least one villager taken out for GUA. He's sitting at the moment on 49. His opponent, however, sits on 36 villagers. A huge difference. So there's a couple of things that contribute to that. Number one, the delay in the town center coming up. Number two, the huge amount of villagers that went down on that doubt post. That was absolutely terrible damage. Oh, you hate to see it. You really do hate to see it. Now, student going to be in serious trouble here as GUA now begins pushing in and looking at finishing off his opponent. This build order breakdown is definitely going to end with what seems to be a student breakdown, it seems. Battering ram now going to be coming in. Beautiful timing on that bad boy. No need for a blacksmith with that bad boy. Keep in mind, playing as the Abbasid Dynasty, you've got that technology already researched. You've got the siege engineering ready to go. So now we're going to see the second one come in, and we are continuing to see a resurgence of the Abbasid Dynasty. They've been picked more and more, and this is a very open map that we've got here. So you can see it's incredibly open, and yet still we've got the Abbasid Dynasty being picked up by both GUA and his opponent in this situation. But Camel Archer doing a nice little job intercepting the troops here, the reinforcements. Scout finding out these villagers down here on this southern expansion as well. GUA looking to pick off a couple of horsemen as they run past. Spears getting a connection as well, doing a bit of a drive-by. But now up towards the north, we're going to enter into that cinematic mode so that we can get the best picture. And now we're going to take a look around the corner and see what we can spot out as the camels try and tee off towards the spears, just absolutely getting shredded. You can see they're on the ground, just dying completely. Archers, unfortunately, not going to get kited out particularly well, and it means that the horsemen are all that remain now, and there's just more spears than there are horsemen, and that's never a position that you ideally want to have. So GUA absolutely destroying his opponent at this point, continuing to push in towards that town center and just overwhelming his opponent. Gosh, where is my buttons? There they are. Yeah, GUA running over that first town center. Second one going to be coming right up as well. Double battering ram still out here. It looks like the villagers have turned their attention towards that scout. That's going to be going down. Still getting picked up in the middle, GUA's reinforcements. So this Camel Archer getting a lot of value, but at the same time, I've got much larger concerns about what's really going on here as GUA continues to try and push his opponent to the limits. Villagers going to be coming out. No textiles for these bad boys. One of the big tips I would make to you guys, if your enemy is making battering rams, you must research textiles. That's just very simple, because your villagers are going to be what take out the battering rams. That's the real threat to the battering rams, is your villagers. It's a huge amount of siege that they've got there, and a beautiful raid now going to be coming in on GUA's villagers. Now obviously GUA managed to take out that scout, but now the scout gets revenge because the horseman going to come back up here, managing to secure a nice little villager kill up there. But at the same time, in the base of his opponent, you can just see the damage that's coming out. All the spears on the front line, villagers getting picked up on the wood line. GUA just absolutely teeing off, going to town here. Villagers trying their best to return back to the lumber camp at the very least, and going to be all going down here. GUA with a massive lead, 106 population versus the 40 of his opponent. He continues sieging away, and student taps out. He says, good game. GUA victorious. Fellas, if you've enjoyed this game, make sure you check out GUA. I'm going to leave a link in the description, but more importantly, make sure you check out N4C. There's going to be a lot of good games happening right there. I'm incredibly excited about it, and I'm sure you will be too. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.